Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Volcanologist says there will be no let-up soon with eruptions of the Soufriere Volcano in St. Vincent. This story takes the lead in our 1093rd edition of Caribbean Perspective for Monday, 19th April 2021. Details after this break.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. No let up anytime soon. Straight talk from volcanologist Professor Richard Robertson. He's warning Vincentians living in the volcano red zone not to venture back into their homes anytime soon.
Eruption from La Soufriere after 6 this morning. Another eruption from La Soufriere after 6 this morning. It's 41 hours after its last.
Not out to the explosive period yet. And we still could have explosions going forward. And I don't think I'll be saying that we're out of the explosive period for a little while now.
Despite chances being taken by some citizens to return to their homes during the gaps between explosions, even the gaps are unpredictable.
Even if, say, we had a week of nothing happening and just earthquakes, just the earthquakes that we have now, I don't think we'll say yet that it is finished because for a number of reasons. Just bearing in mind historical reasons, right? Soufriere has always erupted for longer than a week. We just entered the first week here, so to say that it's finished in 2 weeks, that'll be very unusual. Secondly, the amount of energy that this volcano had at the beginning suggests to us that it has a lot more down there to come out.
According to Vincentian volcanologist Professor Richard Robertson, La Soufriere's recent activity is starting to look more like the 1902 eruption than the 1979 eruption.
Destructive potential is going to be probably bigger than or comparable to the 1902 eruption, which essentially damaged and destroyed places and properties in the entire northern 1/3 of the island.
Either way, it's far from finished.
People need to avoid. I think the main thing is that people need to stay out of those areas. They're still very high risk. There's still things in there that could kill you. And even though there's an interval between explosions, I don't think people should now start thinking that every time an explosion, you could try to get in during the gap because the gap might change as it just did.
Data collection expeditions show the landscape on the mainland has already changed. Professor Robertson says rivers that once flowed to the sea are now filled with debris, forcing water to cut alternative tracks. And get this, the World Meteorological Organization detected sulfur dioxide emissions from La Soufriere have reached all the way to India. Urvashi Tawari Rupnarayan, TV6 News.
Trinidad and Tobago mourns the loss of Energy Minister Franklin Khan. He died at his home at Mocha, Maraval on Saturday morning. Urvashi Tawari Rupnarayan of TV6 News reports.
Trinidad and Tobago has lost its energy minister. 63-year-old Franklin Khan passed away at his Mocha Heights Maraval home at about 6:30 on Saturday morning. Relatives tell police they last saw him at about 11:30 on Friday night when they retired to bed and discovered him unresponsive in his chair when they went looking for him to have their regular morning coffee. Police sources say one Dr. Padmore visited the scene and pronounced the minister dead, and they also say his body bore no marks of violence. Relatives tell police the minister took the COVID jab 4 days ago. And while questions are still mounting in the public domain as to whether the vaccine was a cofactor in the minister's death, as you will hear in an accompanying story, National Security Minister Stuart Young says only a pathology can make that conclusive indication. Police officers remained at the Maraval home until the funeral agency removed the body. Hailing from Mafeking village, Mayaro Khan read for his BSc in Geology and Geography from the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies and later his MBA from the Arthur Lockjack Institute of Business. A petroleum geologist, Senator Khan spent most of his time in public service. He served as president of the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago, as director of the Water and Sewage Authority, and as chairman of the National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited. His involvement in politics started as TNT's Works and Transport Minister under the PNM's Manning regime. Khan continued to serve under the Keith Rowley-led administration, eventually passing as the sitting Energy Minister. He was also the chairman of the PNM. His death is being regarded as a tremendous loss for the party. While not posting directly to his Facebook page, a post on the Office of the Prime Minister's Facebook page says, quote, "The Prime Minister is extremely saddened by the passing of his colleague and friend, who will be remembered as a man who dedicated his life to public service. Dr. Rowley mourns the loss of a patriot and son of the soil. May God bring comfort and strength to his loved ones," end quote. The PNM Women's League calls Khan a loyal and esteemed member of their party, who they say led with humility and in the interest of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Lady Vice Chair Camille Robinson-Regis says, quote, "I considered him my friend. His heart and soul were PNM from childhood. The party and its membership were his family after devotion to his wife Laura and his children, grandchildren, and relatives," end quote. And the PNM's National Youth League mourns the passing of a PNM stalwart. In a statement issued today, they say, quote, "His warm and infectious smile was his personal way of greeting everyone he met, sharing his positive attitude toward life with all he met," end quote. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessa expresses condolences, saying, quote, "Mr. Khan dedicated much of his life in service to his country, and his contributions over a period of almost 2 decades as a Member of Parliament, a Minister of Government in varying capacities in 2 PNM administrations, and as a Senator are laudable," end quote. In extending condolences on behalf of Khan's home constituency, Mayaro MP Rushton Paré posted to his Facebook page, quote, "As a product of an oil district, he was attracted to the industry and studied geology. His subsequent ministerial portfolios included energy and energy industries. Throughout his years in public service, he retained great affinity to the communities of Mayaro, Guayaguyari, and surrounding areas. We were on different political sides and held contrasting positions on national development, but I appreciated Mr. Khan's public service and his loyalty to the community, to his birth," end quote.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Jamaica's health ministry has reported that one person who has received the COVID-19 vaccine has died and says there is no link between the death and the medicine at this time. Details in this TVJ News item with Vashon Brown.
During a news conference, Director of Family Health Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Melody Ennis, reported that the ministry has so far received 76 notifications of adverse reactions, 5 of them serious, including a death. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa Mackenzie says it's important to note there is no proven correlation.
And so if we have persons that would have died after getting the vaccine, then we will report it. If we've had persons who have had severe problems after getting the vaccine, then we will report it. This is how we analyze information. We look at patterns right across the world because these reports are submitted to the global committee that monitors these to see if there's any kind of relationship. But there has been no association between this cause of death found with COVID-19. So the vaccine is safe, it is effective.
Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, says all tests must be concluded before any detailed analysis can be provided.
Particularly clinical circumstances
It might be mere speculation at this point in time. It might be a coincidental death. So as a medical practitioner, I'd rather wait until the pathologist and all of those investigations have been done.
Jamaica is also reporting, meanwhile, that nearly 85,000 people have received their vaccination during their 5-day vaccination blitz.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said this is 12% more than the ministry's target for the weekend blitz. The total number of people vaccinated since March now stands at 135,473.
The blitz weekend demonstrated that Jamaicans are interested and are willing to come out. It also demonstrated, when we opened up the categories, that some persons were more willing to come when they had company to come. So a younger person taking an older person. These are things, the patterns, the data we are still assessing. But there was a lot that we learned during this first national blitz. And we are now going to use the next few days to assess and to return with an even better plan. So when we get into the next blitz, which we hope will be not this weekend, but maybe the weekend after.
Despite limited stocks of the vaccine, routine vaccination is expected to resume on Monday. The next blitz is slated for the end of the month. Most of the people vaccinated so far are aged 50 to 69. Overall, 56% of those inoculated were women, while 44% were men. Now, the government expects to vaccinate 1.9 million Jamaicans by March 2022.
Over in Guyana, 76 people are hospitalized with COVID-19 across the country. More in this News Source Guyana news item with Gordon Mosley.
There are 76 persons this evening hospitalized with COVID-19 across the country, with 59 of those persons in the Infectious Diseases Hospital at Liliendal. Of those 59 persons who are at a COVID-19 hospital, 15 are receiving treatment in the intensive care unit and are being assisted with their breathing. That's according to the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony. The minister said Region 4 continues to lead in both confirmed cases and deaths. And in recent weeks, there has been a spike in the virus in several communities across the region.
In Region 4, there are some areas that we have seen cases, persistent cases. So on the East Bank, we have had for a number of weeks now cases in Diamond, Herstelling, Eccles. In Georgetown, we have seen cases in Kitty, Camberville, parts of South Ramveld. So these are the areas in Georgetown that we are seeing cases. And on the East Coast, we have seen in Lusignan, Good Hope area, that we are getting a number of cases.
The health minister said that while those areas might be hotspots, there are also cases across the region. And Dr. Anthony is urging citizens to follow all COVID-19 protocols. He said those who are eligible for vaccination should get the jab. The health minister said health workers could find it difficult to manage patients if the positive cases and hospitalizations continue to rise. More news coming up in a moment.
Cuba is poised to enter the post-Castro era, with Raul Castro due to step down as head of the ruling Communist Party at its Congress this coming week, which will also address the island's severe economic crisis, pandemic response, and signs of growing dissent. Castro, 89, and his late older brother Fidel have successfully ruled Cuba ever since leading the 1959 revolution that toppled a United States-backed dictator and installed a communist-run country on the doorstep of the United States. The Congress, which takes place every 5 years, is the Communist Party's most important meeting, electing party leadership and setting policy guidelines. Raul Castro said at the 2016 Congress it would be the last one led by the so-called historic generation of revolutionary veterans. The new generation of younger leaders is not expected to make sweeping changes to Cuba's one-party socialist model, but it will be under pressure to pursue further market-style reforms to the long-ailing centrally planned economy, Cuban analysts said.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now makes it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.